What if everything's alright, man? What if everything's actually okay? What if all the suffering, all the bad things you see all day, what if it's actually something positive? Because it actually gives us the room and space to breathe and to become something new and to wake up. I had this realization today that wherever there's suffering, wherever there's anything so negative and so bad that you see in the news, that you see in your own life, other people's lives, in the end, something good and something even better, plus 10%, always follows. Every time. I suffer in a job, hate it, don't like it, I don't like this, I don't like that, people treat me like this, blah, 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 blah. That's what the ego says, like, in the end, it gives me the nourishment, the suffering nourishment, so it's positive suffering, in a way, to transform. Everything's stagnant, neutral. It's all right, it's not good, it's not bad, it's a 9 to 5, blah, blah, blah. But it's not my dream job, whatever. Are you going to change? You could, but it will be very difficult. Because you do not have the level of suffering that your consciousness needs to actually wake up. You need the waves. You need the absolute lowest point to get to the high. To live out your own actual Dharma. To become yourself. If you look at the news, for instance, right, you see, I don't know, right-wing parties becoming very, very strong, people doing this and that, and there's a lot of uncertainty. I don't know, food production is an issue. What we do with animals, absolutely horrifying. Climate change, all of these things, AI even, social media, body images, all of these things, they are so dangerous, they're so terrifying. There are all these different things that invoke some level of suffering in us, right? Dukkha, as Buddhism would call it, which is very much not just like pain and suffering, but it's discomfort as well. It's everything. It's that whole negative bandwidth of that type of emotion. All of these things, you have them in so many little different ways throughout the day, throughout your life. And if you look collectively at the planet, if you look at it as the planet as a bit of an organism, let's say, you just see that this is increasing. That level of dukkha, that level of suffering, is becoming more and more and more. And from the conservative point of view, this is something really bad. Everything's going to shit. Oh, it's never been that bad. Oh, and with this and this and that, and how can we ever get out of this rut collectively? And I often think like this as well. Well, that's when I'm asleep. Now I've woken up. And you as well. And now that I've woken up, I can see it. We're growing. There's always this type of mainstream that really is ingrained, like has this suffering ingrained in their being. So we see this so negative, but what we do not see often enough is this tiny percentage that was 1% of people, that's now probably 3% of people that just wake up more often and more often. They're there. Can you see them? I see them in young people. I'm 28 now. I see them in 18-year-old people. I see this light, this waking up. Yeah, if you look at the 97%, social media, body image, all these different things, influencers, that's what you think about young people, right? Like not having a sense of belonging. You know what I see now? I see the other side. I see the people that in schools, right? My mum's a teacher and she has this experience where more and more children are really like opening up to what is meditation, as an example, but also just in general. What the hell's life? Why should I be working a 9 to 5? Do I actually need to go to university? Like there's this level of thinking for themselves earlier than my parents did and their parents did, and even earlier than I did. Like I had this, like my flower basically started to blossom when I was 25. Until then, it was just hedonism and just sleeping, mental sleeping. I see kids, man, that do this with 15 and they're serial entrepreneurs with 18. And they just immediately understand, you know what, I don't want to work for other people. I want to do my own shit. And that understand what they value in life. That go much earlier than I did and much earlier than my parents did into the actual Dharma. Think about 70s, people that were young in the 70s. They would just do some bullshit job. And then midlife crisis, it's a term that we will soon forget. Because midlife crisis for me is something where people, when they're 40 or 50, they're like, oh shit, that's not actually what I wanted to do in life. And then they change. And if they're very, very lucky and they have the power to do it and the financial and whatever means, right, then they can maybe even do that, what they actually were supposed to do, live out their Dharma. But fair enough, they're already 40, 50 years old. So I wouldn't call it they lost some years, but they didn't live their Dharma for all of their life, that's for sure. And these young people, they're at a point when they're 25 years old that's just incredible. And when you focus on this light in the world a bit more, rather than the unconscious, you can see that something's happening. We're waking up, and it's beautiful. And you're a part of it. If you know it or not, you might not know it. But if you just woke up from a dream, from your bed, and you go to work, and next to is your friend who's still sleeping, and he's not gone to work yet, are you mad at him? Shouldn't be. Because his body's telling him, nah, we gotta still sleep a bit. You can't really describe it, but your body just said, wake up before. So there will be some people that are still sleeping. And there will be some people that are already awake. And there's no good or bad in this. We're all the same fucking being. No individualism at this point. And I can't wait until you wake up. It's beautiful here.